Do you even know who the fuck I am? Do ya? Alright, what is up, guys? We're here for the Eldora track review. Track that it's alright racing. It's a little funner to drive. Probably statistically my best track just because it's always banged the damn boards. In any car. We have a league race, and we're able to see how it changes and when we can possibly move around to other lines besides the top. Yeah, just looking overhead, you see. Yeah, let's back this up a little bit more. You see how the back straightaway you have that little kink right there. Yeah, you see how this kink, it looks like it's actually in the middle of the back straightaway, when it's really just feels like the exit at turn 2, you know, compared to like 3 and 4, you just go to the straightaway, but it seems like it's halfway down the straightaway, and that's just really a key spot in all cars where you want to make most of your speed, you know, especially once the track gets slicked off around the top. And otherwise, yeah, you'll just see it here. You know, middle will slick up and it'll push it more to the top, but because this track started pretty fresh and started on race ready instead of heats and qualifying, the top gets actually a really nice slick spot there in 1 and 2. So the lane below kind of comes in, but you're not really going to see that in an official race setting. And then just the entry in 3 and 4. I feel like the back straightaway is just the whole place to make speed, because everyone kind of forced to exit high out of 4 here, so it's kind of I don't know, a wash, would you say? And then 1 and 2 can get racier, certainly more racy than 3 and 4, but let's take a look now. Got our overhead shot here. So for qualifying, it can really either go 2 ways. You have, you know, you start with a clean track, and then you just get a little bit of slick spot for people, not even slick, but I don't know, greasy, slippery, slimy, whatever you want to call it, just around the bottom. So then you're really just, it's all about how you run the middle, and you also get a little slick spot on entry here. And in the middle, it's all about getting on that first lane of banking, because here it's real flat. 1 and 2, it's banked higher, but then really like right here somewhere is where you see that banking, and you just want to get up on that a little bit. Sometimes you don't want to be afraid about getting half your car up in the crumbs, because you just really want to make sure you get on that banking and then use it where you can come off straight in that little pocket. You see how we made our corner almost as wide as possible because we put our exit way over here. You don't want to come up here and then turn it down, because you're gonna lose a half a tenth right there steering it more on exit, where you could keep it straighter if you get out past that little kink. So already, even in qualifying, I said once this track slicks off, but already in qualifying you can see where that kink out of 2, because really makes you're able to make up time. You're just able to keep your car straighter, and it just really lets you flow into a 3 and 4, which is usually just a slider line, depending where the slick is. Either, you know, sometimes it's slider to the top, sometimes it's to the middle, sometimes it's hold it really low there. It just depends how slick it is. You know, if it's a pre-gen, maybe this whole part is slick, so you're actually just entering from the middle and then maybe even holding it a little bit. But you just want to be really right on exit here. Even though it might not show slick, you gotta watch it where that, like I said, that greasiness, where you might not show it yet, but there's no grip there. You need to have that, because otherwise then you're gonna over rotate on exit on your slider line, and that's also gonna cost you a little bit of time. But the main thing is, like I said, when running the middle, at least in 1 and 2, just come out perfectly at that kink. Like you said, it gets your car width wider. You carry more speed. Just all good things. But and then maybe if there's a pre-gen track, or maybe it's a little slicker, say you got that there, and and then, you know, be like this a little bit. It becomes a little harder to run down the middle because you might have to come through this slick a little bit. And then with this slick pushed up higher, even if there's a bunch of crumbs here, don't be afraid to get up to the wall, but you have to be there on entry. You can't come in the middle and then try to slide up to the wall and come back down. No, you have to start at the wall, and then you can come down, and then you can get past the wall right there. See what I mean? So now we're still using this point of reference that can't got to turn 2. But yeah, it's really just carry out a speed, and like I said, just carry that and do a big slider into 3 and 4. I don't really know what else to say. I used to suck at qualifying here, at least with that slagger at 3 and 4, but you know, now I do it. I'm just like, what the fuck was so hard about it? So I don't really know any tips or anything. It's just, it all depends on where the slick is. Like I said, if it's real slick up here, sometimes you gotta get it down here early. It's gonna cause you to slide up, but just make sure you get wide enough on entrance. You're not sliding. You know, you're never in qualify. Let's bring up our 3 and 4 here, because you're never going all the way. You're not going to top like you would in a race second. You're getting out to the wall, but it's really late. All right, so here we go. So yeah, so say you got some slick spots here, and then it usually widens out here because people are on the bottom, and then it gets more and more because they're wearing out the slider line. So rule number 1 is make sure you get high enough to where you're not coming out with your left sides in this slick and getting you sideways. I wish we could see, I think the 3 Eldora signs are like right here. But you see, we just come up. We're not really getting all the way up to the straightaway, but you still want to be higher than that slickness there. And then, like I said, just be wary where the slick is on the entrance of 3, because you know, maybe sometimes the slick's down low, and then maybe you just run the middle. I don't know why the hell I used to really fucking struggle at that. But anywho, on to the racing. We'll bring up 1 and 2 here. Heat race always usually, well, in leagues it's a little different. And well, we could see that because what we have in the background, it was a league race, and we can see where, let's bring up a heat 1, so we'll look at the track. Once it loads it up here, alright. So yeah, you see, this is the track, there's that slick on entry I was talking, fuck, I hate the far chase camera sound. There's that slick on entry I was talking about. So now it's like, what do you do here? So now it looks high enough. It looks high enough because you can't really get in a corner. I would run these crumbs on entrance. I would already be at the crumbs. I'd be at the fence and kind of cut down. Because you see, like, this guy behind him, he's having to drive through the slick to get to the middle, and I just feel like you don't carry that much momentum off. And then, you know, so not a lot of slick in the middle. Just a little line on exit. But heat racing, it's really just try to build as much momentum as you can. And that's something in 1 and 2 you can especially do. 3 and 4 you can't really do. You can still, like I said, if you're still just stuck following someone, just, you know, I always like to play it safe and just run like a, you know, if they're running a slider line, just run it half a lane higher. That way you're not going to drive over them on entrance, and then also, especially like on exit, you're going to make sure you're going to be high enough. It's like, there's probably not a lot. You see a slick patch there, even some on the straightaway there a little bit. But you want to be high enough to get over that slimy dirt out of 4. So that's heat 1. So it's essentially got our slick spot, and then all that's crumbs way up top. Then like 1 strip, and then a little bigger on exit, and then eventually that becomes just bigger on exit, bigger on entrance, and then maybe even a little here, and then it makes where the track's actually fun. That's where it can be fun for a heat race, because you can really choose, you know, because the fastest lane is actually you can end up through the middle. But then if you hit the top right on entrance, you can carry the speed, and you can even run a big cut down, because where's the best dirt going to be? Down on exit over here once this slick really backs up into the corner on exit. But it's just really getting used to entering your car at a high speed on a fresh track up in the crumbs, up next to a wall, and be confident in it. You know, and even if you do pancake the wall, just be able to steer off it and do that. Let's just skip to heat race 3 maybe. Do this, be better. Heat 2, heat 3. What do we got? So here we see, I don't know why, because I literally see no one run the bottom in 3 and 4, like ever, like after qualifying, but that slick line will just sit there and still burn off. I don't know if it's track just drying off or what, but I'm like, no one's touching the bottom of 3 and 4, and it literally doesn't come into late in the feature because it just keeps getting slicker on itself. Okay, so here we go. We have that slick spot in the 1. It's bigger. You see it a lot more now in slick. You see that slick line I was talking about just on entry for the most part. It does no, it's already carried all the way around, all the way around the corner, real thin line. So here's where that middle could be good again. You see people already trying to work this bottom too. Let's go on board with the car just to see what it looks like from the cockpit. Yeah, so you're carrying a lot of speed. You hit that slick patch, so you gotta be it's just real tough. You gotta make sure you keep it out of the wall, but keep your speed going. Like there's just 3 components to running the top, and it sounds really easy, but it's every track, and every track has different little characteristics. But it's just keep your car straight as you can, enter as high as you can, so you're in the grip as much as you can, and then just the right amount of speed. On a big half mile like this, your speed, you don't have to worry about that much. But at this point in the race, you kind of do, because you can't enter as fast as you think you can into turn 1 sometimes. But even as a place like this, or a place like Fairbury, or place like Kokomo, it's those 3 things: maintain your speed, keep your car straight, and keep it up in the slick. If you do those 3 things to as optimal as you can, you're going to be fast, and that's how you make up time and chase people down while running the top side on a 1-lane track. But when I say maintain your speed, I mean, like a place like Fairbury or Lima Land, where if you carry like 1 and 2, especially on both tracks, if you carry too much speed into it, then once you get out of 2, you're carrying too much speed, and you have to brake the car really sideways, or you just have so much speed, or you're just gonna go and hit that wall. You're gonna hit that opening in Lima Land out of turn 2, because you're carrying too much speed. You can't slow the car down enough, and then what you have to do is turn the car left and scrub speed off, and that's gonna hurt your exit. That's why I say you gotta watch your speed. At a place like Eldora, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about carrying too much speed in the 2 or 3, or 2 and 4 on exit at least, but you do on entry of at least 1. Turn 3, not really, because you're not entering on it until the track's already really slow. You're mainly running slider line. Let's see, something at the bottom here. So yeah, bottom already came in now, just because people aren't able to carry as much momentum around the top, because that slick spot is all the way around. So you're searching for the next place that doesn't have, has the least laps on. Well, it's the bottom, because nobody should have really touched it since practice laps or qualifying. And you see in 3 and 4, this is pretty typical looking 3 and 4, just slick, skinny line going out, but then just patches down here, but you really just want to slide up to the middle. Then so here to exit looks a little tough. A lot of people have been sliding up, so there's actually a slick spot up here by the Eldora signs. But thing you gotta watch for, I'll bring up paint again. We don't have 3 and 4 up. This section right here, especially in, like, if you think of it between the 2 Eldora signs, because one's there, one's there. This section, it's not as bad in 410s, but in 360, it might as well be a whoop section. Just picture a bunch of bumps and shit. So it's hard coming through a top there. So anytime you're running a slider line, you either want to make sure, you usually want to just make sure you're deep enough to get past it if you're going up to the wall, or kind of stay just below it. But then you're going to hurt your speed on exit. One thing is you would think people always try lane down or something a lot more, but it's just this exit of 4 gets so fucking slick. it just really just forces everything to come through on the top of it. And you know, a lot of people, they try like just a lane down all the way around, which it works all the way until exit, and then you just can't keep your speed on exit. But just be cognitive of the middle of the corner here because it's really rough. If you run your slider line and you cut up into this, that's where you might see your car jumping out of control. You know, hopping up on the right rear and spinning out. You know, good target is just look for those Eldora signs and just slide it to there at least, which you saw the people do here because you see how slick it is right here. Then let's give a far chase. You see how it's slick here because everyone ran slider line, got up to that part of the track, and then their car's over rotating a little bit. That's what creates that slick spot right there. Let's move on into the night. Oh, that was race over. So here, now you really see a lot more slick all the way down the straightaways, and now our middle's gone. So, and now you see that little thin line, which you can use on entrance if you want to slide to the top, but it's pretty much the track's pretty much used all of their lanes for now. Tops there, yeah. Like if you run middle, there's no middle anymore because if you do that, you just lose it all on exit. There's nothing you can go to for grip. You can try to slip through here the best you can and get past that kink in the wall, but it's really not going to work. That's what we should take a look at right now, is that kink in the wall. But like I said, bottom doesn't even look that great on exit anymore. Is there anyone not crashing anywhere in this? You know, bottom still has grip, but it's still, you have to slow your car down too much at this point, it seems like, to really nail it. Where if you can keep your car straight on the outside, it'll just carry momentum all the way around. Then you see on the exit of 2 here what I'm talking about. Past that kink. Can we straighten the fucking camera up? You can see all this grip right here. It's almost still a car with a grip, and that's all that grip past the kink. And that's why I always talk about steering past the kink. When you look at, so yeah, it's hard to even fucking see in this view right now. But I think it's right here. So that's where we want to get past. So once the track is slick from top to bottom, one way to counter this, and straightaway slick too. When you come in high, you don't be afraid to get the car a little bit lower right here, because then you can get above the slick leg or past the kink to get past that. Because if you come around wide the whole time and keep it wide, then you have to come down, and then you're just kind of through a slick. So it depends on the track really, but right now there's so much grip on the outside, it'd be better to do that little cut down almost to get the grip on exit out there. Whereas sometimes, you know, maybe if the straightaway wasn't so slick, it'd be fine keeping it wound up all the way around. Or if it's a preset, if it's a pre-gen cushion, you generally want to do that. But you're just going to keep it wound up all the way around and then just exit, and you're going to keep enough momentum to get through that straightaway slick. And that's the better way to go. But like I said, that Aga 2 just really, it carries all your speed in the 3 and 4, and I feel like that's just what makes up the whole lap. People run slider line in 1 and 2, never a thing. Never ever a thing. Don't do it. That's all I can say, is never. It's in a 360 if the track's alright. If the track is in certain conditions, sure, it's fast, but I still usually keep pounding the cushion just because. It used to be really, really rough up here. Maybe that's why I don't do it. It's not as rough anymore, but it used to be a death sentence if you were coming up and sliding. I would always throw my sliders in 3 and 4 because it's like Charlotte. It's a flatter part of the track. It's easier to clear. It's easier to keep momentum. Where in 1 and 2, especially in bigger cushion builds, you'd come up and you'd fucking hit that cushion on exit here because you're making so much of the corner right there. From just the way it's shaped. It's just like Charlotte again in 1 and 2 because it's more banked, and then the corner is more of a V like that, where in 3 and 4 it's kind of more of a U. It's more of a rounded. This corner is more of a V. It doesn't really look like it, but if you look at right here and right here, you can see the two big bends in the wall, where in 3 and 4, it won't let me go in our overhead again. You can see what I mean. So from here to here to, well, there, it's a lot sharper. When, like, if you did to here, it's just rounder. If you know what I mean, it's just rounder. And that's why when you hit the bottom in 3 and 4, you can't make as much time because there's not all that good grip low. Same with Charlotte. There's not that good grip low you can end up getting on exit because the corner's so round. So you have to just slow the car down, keep it low, and then hope there's enough there to give you enough momentum almost on exit. Because otherwise that top's going to eat you up. You might get alongside of someone all the way to the end. You might even get a car length ahead of them into the corner, but then down the straightaway, if you're even right here, top's just going to go zoom, and you're just going to be back here still trying to gain speed coming off the bottom. Just because it's a lot more rounder and it's a flatter corner. And like I said, that's why it's better to throw sliders down there, and it's a lot easier of a slider because you're not coming up right here, and you see how sharp you gotta make this corner here. You're just coming up and it's rounded, Like I said, not as bad as it used to be. Let's check out our B main, D main. I don't know what's happening. It's just tracks get slicker. Let's just see what everyone's running. So now you see the top 3 guys there went to the bottom because that's where the most grip is on the track right now. You gotta be, I wish you could see throttles, but you gotta be real slow. You gotta hook it all the way around before you could really come up off the corner, like up to this slick. But now it's, like I said, you gotta slow down so much to hit it now. So, what else in the back, ripping top? Yeah, it's really because that slick spot right there out of 2 is what's hurting everybody right now. So, like I said just a second ago, where the top would go down the straightaway because of that slick spot out of 2 right there, they're not able to carry that much speed. So the bottom can still hang with it there. But it's just a finite amount of grip that eventually is going to run out, and then it's just going to be up by the wall. And then, so let's look at 3 and 4 here. I'll bring up 3 and 4 on the paint too. So the next part is if you're going to baby slide or run the top in 3 and 4. So say this is like your most slick. It's all the way around the track. Then you kind of, this is slick. Then maybe there's a baby gap there. But then this is all slick too. So you have this. You basically have this, and then you have that really narrow strip on entrance. So let's go back to our game here, and here's what you see. It's essentially, yeah, there's our narrow strip, and then we have this, where you have basically the size of your right rear. And now I'm thinking, especially in a late model, you need to decide. If you're not comfortable running the top, that's fine. But if you really can get in there, get the car turned, plug your right rear, you just build so much speed through the center and on exit. Or someone doing this will enter in that and slide up, they're going to do that. They're going to hit that, they're going to do a little wobble, and then they're going to come down the track a little bit too even, and they're not going to be high enough. And that's where another place where you can make that little bit of speed, because once it goes one lane, you're basically just fighting for hundreds. There's not going to be different tenths and shit in the racetrack once it gets slick. But it's just, you want to get in there. Oh, can I get a fucking straight camera? Yes, no one really does it. Maybe Bragan will hit it. So he does it. Bragan gets in there, gets on it, gets on the cush, straightens it out, and he's able to keep it a lot straighter. You see what I mean? And he's a little bit higher there on exit, so he does it. That's just the other one or two. Otherwise, if you're just that speed isn't always there though. But when it is, that's what you can do. Otherwise, yeah, that little baby slider, that's fine. That's, I don't know, it's not that much slower. But running the bottom, like I said, in 3 and 4 here, it's just that the grip line not only gets so much more narrow than in 1 and 2, but it just never opens up until exit, like right here. That's what makes it tough. It's just every other line besides the top is tough at Eldora, and that's why it's a top downwind track. It's because of the banking, and it's just the way it slicks off, how slick it gets on the exit of the corners. It just that's what it is. That's Eldora, and then once the track's past any state like this, check out the B main here. Yeah, it's just really, you're just trying to run the top, and you're gonna get as much grip as you can. Here you see my brother right here. See what he runs here. Oh, we're sliding up in the corner. It's a no-no there. You see we over-rotate. Yeah, but you just want to use as much of this grip as you can on exit. You just get your car up there as much as you can. Let's find someone who might be running it. But yeah, it should really be primarily just top side. There, here's a perfect example of it. Where you see Hagen comes in high. Alright, even though he's 3 wide. Gets cleared him, guys, and then right here he starts coming down the track a little bit to straighten out, and boom, get that. We'll go on board and watch how he did that. This comes in, so there's that's the other thing is you need a little bit of slide. Generally you don't want that, but outdoor you usually need a little bit of slide because you can't enter, and at least in 1 and 2 here, you can't enter up on it like 3 and 4. There's that little bit of half a lane where you let your car just glide up the racetrack too much. Well, yeah, now you don't really do it too much because you pancake the wall, obviously, but it's not like 3 and 4, the entrance of 1 and 2. You gotta let it, you gotta account for that on your entrance, that your car's gonna slide up a little bit, because otherwise if you do enter up too high up in here, you gotta bring the car down middle a little bit too earlier than you want. So you see, yay, I was gonna do cockpit. And there's even good dirt right here that you can get your left sides down into. Boom, and that's how you make that straightaway longer. Remember when I said that the bottom and the top were even before, because that slick spot out of 2 didn't allow people to carry straightaway speed? Well, this is how you fucking carry straightaway speed, then, is with this cut down here. And then also you can even utilize that cut down to the middle bottom if you can later on in the race, once it gets slicked off even a little bit more. But those are just when lines come in, hanging out a little bit. But there you saw it. He tried to enter, didn't quite. Yeah, he didn't quite enter on it enough, and then he kind of got in those whoops, like I said, in the middle of the corner, where he slid up to that, and like I said, boom, over-rotates the car, has to come down the racetrack. Does a good job of keeping it straight, though. You don't want to be one of those people that, alright, this happens, and you're trying to steer it back up to the grate. No. The mistake was made, and now it's like, just make the best out of it that you can. He knows he's clear, just cut down the track, keep the car straight, and get back to the top of the next corner. Don't fight and wrestle with the race car, and lose more time doing it. That's about it for the Eldora review. Like I said, a little slider, boom, perfect, right past. Like I said, use that Eldora signs as a reference point on where you need to be up. That looked really good, really comfortable. Sometimes the middle, it has to get really slick, but the middle of 3 and 4 can come in 360s, just right on the flat part, like just right here. That will come in, but really don't look for it. The top's always going to be faster than it, but it's something else to run for those people that aren't necessarily comfortable with the top. But like I said, this used to be the track, like in the first build, it was just 4 tracks. I liked Eldora because all I did was run the top, so I got really used to it, and all cars, and that's what helped me once the cushion came out. I was like, oh shit, cool, now the top is fast. Yeah, just put laps in it. Eventually get it. Like I said, use those 3 things. Just be in the grip, which is generally closest to the wall. Not maintain your speed. I don't know, just be the right speed. You don't want to be too fast, but like I said, that's really just bull rings. Don't have to worry about that on here. And like I said, unless it's really slick on that entry of 1, and then just keep your car straight as you can. That's so much easier said than done, but that allows you to really, as long as you just slow down and keep your car straight, even at a place like Fairbury, it's just where you don't even necessarily need your right rear in the grip the whole time, but you can still make a good corner. You're not gonna lose a ton of time or anything like that. You're not gonna gain time. You're not gonna gain time on the people that do it best. But it's not too shabby. Anyway, leave a like if you guys enjoyed, if you learned anything. But anyways, peace the fuck out.